Hello, everybody. Okay, what we're going to talk about, again, tough topic, but keys to detecting a cheater. And perhaps this could be some of the variables used by counselors, by attorneys if need be, or just by regular people trying to figure out if they can trust their intuition about what's going on within the household. A couple things. When questioned, gaslighting might be used. Gaslighting is a term to where the accused may try to make somebody feel crazy, question their judgment, question their cognitive ability. And so you will actually hear the term crazy. So crazy, if you hear that term, I do not know why, but that seems to be a common term that the cheater will use to try to keep you from pursuing this any further. Um, Proof. They may use the term, what proof do you have? Now, if you are innocent and you've been accused, typically you're not going to use the word proof. You're going to be bewildered. You're going to ask, how could you think this? What have I done? What have I said? You could be very angry, clearly. But the reason proof comes up, and pay attention to that, that would be a check mark here, is that they've been very careful typically to try to make sure that there's no video, there's no pictures, there's no lurid text messages, that where they meet is careful. So they're trying to figure out if you have proof, okay? So that's another variable in the mix. Not one single thing can really detect this. I'm concerned. Another gaslighting technique they will use is this very condescending tone and say to either you or a friend or a relative, say, I'm really concerned about so and so. Again, it's the type of gaslighting. Remember, if you've been falsely accused of cheating, you're not concerned. You're bewildered, you are angry, you're frustrated, but you're not concerned about that person. You're angry, you're frustrated. Okay. So, implicit apology. They don't tell the truth, they don't admit to it, but they buy you a nice dinner that's unexpected. They buy you a gift, they take you on vacation. Just know that friends and colleagues typically are the most common affair partners. So pay attention when you go out with friends or colleagues. Who are they hanging around talking to? Another thing is cheaters are not great at keeping secrets, actually. And so they may share with you or something like, hey, I've got this friend that cheats. I've got this friend who's hooking up or whatever. Pay attention to friend talk. It's almost like this insatiable desire to disclose without disclosing. Just another variable. Related to that is they may hint, just at various random times in conversation, that they know other people cheat. You may see somebody on the TV show and they'll say, that person's cheating with so-and-so, or, a neighbor comes up and they'll say that. So they tend to have, and we'll talk about that. Okay, just another variable. They may talk about changing their life. They may talk about how they've turned a new leaf. Now, they're not admitting to the truth, but if you hear that, again, just another variable. Okay. And if they've been accused, if you've accused somebody and they don't leave, okay. Now there can be certain amount of time, and we also have to, do they have means? If they don't have the money to do that, do they have a family member or somebody with a place to stay or money, to get an attorney? But if they've been accused for a long period of time and they don't leave, another variable to put in the mix. Your intuition, please pay attention to your intuition about this. We are sensing people. And yes, there's varying degrees which that happens. Some people are more sensitive than others, but just as a dog can feel fear, trust that if you're feeling dis-ease or anxiety, if all of a sudden you start becoming very anxious, that may not be related to this. It may be anxious about driving or leaving the house or whatever. Pay attention to that. People like to discount that. And do be aware that this can be a big gaslighting technique. Oh, you're always thinking stuff. Now, of course, you need to look at your patterns. Have you always identified people and accused people? That's something you need to deal with, okay? Because false accusations, that's not cool. And that's a big deal. But pay attention to your intuition. If they have social media, they may not, okay? They may want to keep as anonymous as possible. But if they do, is it just family stuff? Now, we all have egos. We like to show, hey, we ran a marathon, or we did this, or, look at this painting or whatever. That's common. That's human. But when all their stuff is like, look at me with my family and all that kind of stuff, and that's it, potentially another variable. Also, appearance. Remember, we're talking about serial cheaters here. So we're not talking about a one-time mess up, which is still a very serious thing and the couples need help, professional help with. But we're not talking about couples in polyamorous relationships or open relationships or whatever. The appearance thing comes in if you were to make a comment about somebody's appearance, they gained weight or they lost a lot of weight or their hair's graying or whatever. Don't be surprised if that doesn't come back, if that's not talked about. So what I mean by this, if you question if somebody might be cheating and you were to talk to a friend and say, hey, so-and-so, the person you think's cheating has gained a lot of weight or hair's getting really gray or whatever, don't be surprised that the next time you see the person you're accusing, they don't bring that up, okay? It gets to them because these folks can be smart. They can be good at business. We need to redefine smart. But where they lack is heart and intuition. So intelligence is heart, mind, and intuition. They may have a sharp mind, but the heart and the intuition's not there. And it would drive them crazy for you to think that there's something wrong with their appearance. And they have to talk about it, okay? So a couple other things to keep in mind. You need to find a good counselor. I do not recommend couples counseling right away with this. You need a good counselor. And when looking for a good counselor, just as you would for a plumber or a car mechanic, you need to ask this person, ask the counselor, tell me what you know about covert narcissism and personality disorders and infidelity. And if that person doesn't immediately start talking succinctly and accurately and knowledgeably about these issues, that's probably not going to be the counselor for you. If a counselor says something like, oh, I don't like labels or stuff like that, that's the person you go to when you've really messed up and you need somebody without much judgment. But when you want to work on this particular issue, you need somebody who knows a lot about covert narcissism and personality disorders. Please keep in mind, if you're suffering with this, that what is not repaired is repeated. This is something that folks on the narcissistic personality disorder scale do not know. They think as long as they're not caught, it's done. No, you always pay the price for these things. All right, folks, hang in there. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if there's anything else I can talk about on this stuff.